I smell like gefilte fish because I am making some for Rosh Hashanah right now. So
What?
if you had like a
I feel like you just broke news here, Becky. I didn't know that was happening over at your house. You're like, I'm making some stuff.
Breaking news. Well, because I don't want to get anyone's hopes up. I've made it many times with our mom, but I've never made it on my own. So I don't know. Like, I don't want to build it up, say, I'm making it, because like, I don't know what it's going to taste like.
Too much hype. If there's too much hype around,
it's a super like, it's like a low key gefilte fish thing happening.
You were in my kitchen today and just casually said, oh, maybe Allie's my wife. Allie should make the apple cake. I'm pretty busy. You didn't mention that you're
I've overloaded my menu.
Welcome to another episode of the Friday Night Movie Podcast. It is on the eve of Rosh Hashanah, and every year we try to give you phenomenal Rosh Hashanah content. And this year we have an incredible guest. We have Shelley Pack, who is an actor, writer, producer, an improviser. She's performed with the Groundlings, Second City, Whose Line Is It Anyway? She was on the Discovery Channel, and how I discovered her personally was through a algorithmic recommendation of her hilarious film, Chasing Molly. But she's done so many incredible things, and she was willing to come on this show. And she's also, is it fair to say you're incredibly Jewish?
I'd say I'm like Jewish light. I love the Jewish culture. But, I'm probably going to eat bread on Passover.
Okay, got it.
That's a great kind of way to encapsulate it. That gives us a lot to work with.
But you're Jewish enough to know some
Birkat Hamazon.
Yeah, like you.
Yeah, I know the prayers. I know I could probably read Hebrew with vowels, but I wouldn't know what it was saying.
Got it.
Yeah, that's still dropping some pretty excellent knowledge. I have a friend my friend Rafi from childhood used to gauge people's quote unquote Jewishness by what they would be willing to eat and not eat at McDonald's. So there was the people who wouldn't go into McDonald's at all. And then there were like the bacon cheeseburger people. But then there were my friend Josh, who comes on our show a lot.
Fish at a McDonald's.
The fish fillet.
The fish is acceptable.
Yeah, I don't keep kosher, but I'm so picky and finicky. I could probably be like, oh yeah, it's because of my religion, but it's really just because I'm like a finicky
good cover
eater.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think anyone past like the teenage years can eat McDonald's without going into shock. So
yeah.
So we have with us Shelley Pack, and we're going to get into there's going to be some good Rosh Hashanah stuff in this week.
Okay, Lashana Tova to everyone.
Lashana Tova to you.
That's very sweet.
But I think we got to just jump into talking to Shelley.
There's
so much to talk about. So I'll just start us off, and then we'll go around here. Okay, Shelley, where do you start? Like, where does your origin story? Is it in the improv world? Is it in the acting world? Is it in the writing world?
It's in the improv world for sure. My basis is improv comedy. And then you kind of realize, especially as a female comedian, that if you want parts or you want to be seen how you want to be seen, if you want to be like the funny one and not like, the one who's always playing the foil for the male comedian to shine, you got to write. You got to write for yourself, make content. And then I became a producer because I wanted to have my writing and me, acting to be seen. So I was like, well, I got to kind of figure out how to make this all happen. And that's, production. I never woke up and said, I want to be a producer. It's kind of thankless unless it's your production, right? Mm-hmm. Or you're being paid, tons of money. Even then, being a producer is really hard. But that's how I got started, was in improv comedy. You'll see a lot of actors in my movie are improvisers that I've either known or known along the way. And I hired improvisers because in independent film making, you don't have 20 or 30 takes. We're not doing tons of reverses. three or four takes, which all we're going to get. Make sure we get coverage, and we're moving on. We're doing a lot. We're filming a lot because it's independent. And so I need people who don't need any time to warm up. I need you to get me gold the first time, and then we can play, and then we can have some fun. But they didn't need any time to warm up. Right out of the gate, I knew I was going to set my actors up for success. I knew a lot of the improvisers, so I was able to write for them specifically because I had worked with them before.
So you mentioned, so one of the topics that we focus on often on our show is not just women, but Jewish women, and characters breaking out of that. The woman plays the foil for
Yes.
the man. And particularly, we've noticed a pattern of maybe Jewish women being classified that way often. When you look at the trail of certain stereotypical characters, where have you found people most receptive to your character? Like, we don't need to talk about the people that weren't.
They don't exist to me. I don't even know who they are.
But when you want to write in your voice, have you just found that people are the folks that are in your movie are obviously supportive, but do people gravitate that as long as you put that out there, or are you also swimming upstream while you're doing that, trying to demonstrate that this is viable?
I feel like if you follow what you think is funny and put it out there, the people who need to see that or want to see that will gravitate towards it. Does it disrupt stuff to see a female as the lead, as being the funny one and being the hero? Yes. Does it upset people? Yeah. But then what you get in the reverse are people who are like, finally, thank you. Thank you for turning all these stereotypes on their head. The casting office where you go in, you're like, uh-oh, but then I saved the day, right? So you want to turn these stereotypes that I've seen in comedy and turn them on their head. And so while, yes, a lot of people are, maybe don't get it or kind of like aren't ready to see that. Okay. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day. Well, but then there are people who do like it, love it. And I didn't come to make things that I think people will like. I have to make something that I think is funny, because at the end of the day, you do get so many people that, want to share their lovely opinion, and we value all of it. Mm-hmm. But if it's not positive, I need to love it so much that I can let it go because I think it's good and funny. So.
Got it. Well, it's hilarious, and particularly Molly, but really in all of the stuff now, and I've watched now, I think quite many clips and things with you. Your characters always seem to have a lot of agency and are moving the action, are saying the thing that moves things along, or coming up with the idea. And it's wonderful. I'm going to hand it to Lily or Becky. Who's going to go first here? I'm never 100% sure. It looks like Lily is.
For what exactly? Because I had a lot.
I know. I just asked a question. It's when do you not have a problem talking?
No, I know. I just want to use up my turn. I want to make sure I use it well.
You can have more than one turn.
I can have more than one turn. Okay.
Well, it depends on how Lily talks. Lily might only have one.
So,
turn.
I thought Becky's might want to jump in here, but there's not much more that we love more than a fake reality show. Okay. So the fact that you made Beverly Hills Salon, which I believe you made with Gil Hacohen, which is the best last name I've ever heard.
That's one of the reasons. That's one of his selling points. I was like, I already like you.
Yeah, that's a great last name. Is literally our jam. Is something that is like real reality. We're not as interested in, but we love a bajillion-dollar property situation. And how did that come about?
I used to work in a hair salon.
I was hoping you were going to say that.
Yeah, I was a receptionist at a hair salon.
I was hoping, that's amazing.
And it was a Beverly Hills salon. And I thought, I'm a big fan of Reno 911, and I love improv. So I was like, well, let's do a setup where we can come up, with the characters, but then we can improvise. And then, every week you'd have people that the characters that came in the salon were hilarious. Stylists are hilarious. I was like, this is perfect for that. And so one of my the hairstylist I work with, she won't want credit right now the way my hair looks, but she said, yeah, you can, the hair salon I use is a Beverly Hills salon, so I can film there. So that actually started me really getting proficient and becoming like mastering production.
Amazing.
Getting a lot accomplished, okay, you've got the salon for 2 days.
Right.
I need to shoot, 50 scenes in 3 days, and 2 of them are salon and one's, you better really get good at booking your actors, timing, getting the equipment. Talk about moving things along. Maybe that's why my character's like, let's go. Like, I'm actually happy this movie, and chip chop. So I really getting good at not only producing, but then having to be the writer and like the acting part. I was like, oh, that's finally the easy part. The hard part is getting everyone and getting everything moving, the props, the, music, every Beverly Hills salon, the theme song has to be made up, everything.
Right.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just watching from your reel, the scene where one of the other women puts MDMA in the coffee.
So funny. I was watching that before.
And just the trailer for the show is great. I love the trailer.
Thank you. And yes, you'll see some of the familiar faces in Beverly Hills Salon are in Chasing Molly. And I think a lot of directors, or you'll see Christopher Guest movies, they know their home run hitters. They know the ones that I can give them anything in there. So Mike and Drew, the cops, they're in Beverly Hills Salon, Jeff Lewis, Skull Leaper, he's in, Beverly Hills Salon. So you really start to work with people and you're like, okay, when I have, and then I'll do their projects, we kind of do that for each other, but I got really good at producing my own content, which was one of the main reasons. And Beverly Hills Salon was just so fun. Like getting to do a fake reality show. Come on. But yeah, getting to use also improv. I love, even if it's a written line, like in the movie, people think it's more improvised than it is. It seems that way because I want it to be natural. I want you to come in the room and say, hi, how are you doing? How you would, not like you're reading a script. And I think improvisers are already just kind of doing their thing naturally. So it doesn't feel like scripted. I can't stand, I'm sure you guys, like I love film. I love watching movies. If I feel like they're acting, reading a script, it's cookie cutter, it turns me off to it like immediately. So I was like, I want to make something that I want to watch and you just know that you got to trust too, your sense of humor. People are like, well, do you want to know what people think? If it's nice, yeah. If not, then it's like, you can make a movie thanks, but I'm not, it's not necessary for me to get everybody's feedback on it. If it's negative, then I don't owe it to anyone to like take it in. I trust my own sense of like comedy.
That confidence absolutely comes through, which is amazing. I mean, it's like envious to have, like, you can feel that confidence.
Oh, wow. Thank you. Thank you, Lily. I appreciate that. I really do.
That for sure.
Especially, that's a big thing. And a lot of why I feel like women, it's more challenging to be like, I'm doing this, this is that. It's not common in an already male dominated field, especially comedy.
Especially, oh wow.
Especially comedy. Improv, I'm always like, and I didn't want to be the woman, right? I'm funny, and even to be the woman, you had to be the top of your game just to get the role of being the woman in the comedy world. And that just, then you have to be 1,000 times better just to, play, just to be in the playhouse. So for me, I don't want to wait around for anything. That's why Beverly Hills Salon, Keep It Green, that went to Discovery Channel, was a web series I started.
Amazing.
I want to describe.
I was jumping to more of my resume.
No. I was going to say, I want to describe.
That's next on our list.
I want to describe Keep It Green for our listeners. So the way my experience of Keep It Green is, imagine a very, very Jewish simple life. Like
exactly what I was thinking. I didn't put it in the notes. I didn't put it in the notes, but just your outfit. Your outfit is so good.
and unlike in The Simple Life, where Paris Hilton and Nicole Richie, who I don't think are necessarily dumb people, but they project like a dumbness.
Right, they're playing dumb girls.
You and your co-star are not dumb. I'm with you guys being like, no, I'm not going to touch that gross stuff either. Why would I want to do that? So
and like just the all the innuendo, like nature has so much like room for like gross jokes or sex jokes, and all the innuendo that you guys and like the people that you're with. I'm not sure if it's on purpose. They're kind of playing it straight, and
they are, because they're real people. They didn't know what to expect. They're like legitimately just regular people. They're
and
like,
you guys aren't being dumb. You're being super smart about it, about the comedy, which is so funny.
We wanted to do like a fish out of water. Like we found most of the stuff about the environment was very like, it's sad and that's the end. And I was like, well, what else? Like, well, what can we do? And we're coming like, we're not experts at all. We're fish out of water, we're wearing but we wanted to make it fun. So it's like a Lucy and Ethel, like you said, a Jewish simple life. Perfect. Exactly. We are not where we belong, but that's okay. If we can do it, you can do it. So it's like, these are things that you can do. And we're not coming from a preachy standpoint. Look at us. We have no clue. And we're trying our best.
That's great.
And then we're like, let's make it funny. It's like, well, everything's so sad.
It's very entertaining. I relate. There's a moment where you're on a bus, you're taking public transportation. You're like, oh, but there's like a taxi right there. There's like a taxi going right by. Can we just get in the taxi? It's very relatable.
And that's the thing. Everything I felt was so like, I know I'm not the one saving the environment. I'm sorry. Like, hell, what could I do? And it was just very sad. And I just thought, let's make this fun and just put it out there. And it wasn't like till a year or so after we had like moved on to another project that Discovery Channel was like, we're doing an environment show. Send us all your stuff. So it's just to people out there, they always want to know how. And I just started making my own stuff. It wasn't a big we had a little dinky camera, which I actually used for Chasing Molly as like a joke camera. I had like a broken screen on it. That was the camera we used to shoot our first Keep It Green episodes. So you don't have to have money, which we didn't, but we had fun. We would shoot it. We'd edit it on iMovie ourselves before I learned how to do, Final Cut. And we just edit it and put it up. And, it led to what it did. But making your own content and having your own voice, to anyone who wants to know how, I would say,
we've been
something.
We've been talking to folks in the independent film world lately, and consistently what we hear is, if you're not going to have money, the content has to be really good, and the people executing it does. And this really shows it. Okay, Becky is our sister that has worked in the actual film industry, but I don't know if her questions will have anything to do with it. Beck, how about you? What do you
I worked in documentary for a long time, and I actually wanted to ask you about appearing in the short that short documentary, Dashiell, A Journey Through Autism, which is very moving. And it's a very, very moving story. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful short film about a young man with autism spectrum disorder. What's the correct terminology? I like to say he has autism. It's not like he's autistic, because I feel like it's something he has. It doesn't define him. Dashiell. So now we're going to talk about like my heart. Working, I just started wanted to give back, in ways that I could. I feel so blessed to be able to do what I love. And I started working with kids and teens with autism, and quickly learned that improv comedy is a way to reach them, because I wouldn't say like, oh, what are you doing? Like, what is that? I'm going to play with you.
You roll with it. Yeah. Yeah.
So I'd get in his world, play with him. And then one day we were in class, and I heard him kind of humming along the song. And it just occurred to me like, well, maybe the music is too loud. A lot of our kids and teens on the spectrum, they have a lot of like sound.
Sensory.
Sensory. Yes, exactly. So I said, let's stop the music. And I started singing. I don't have a good voice, which probably encouraged everyone else in the room. And he just started singing. So through music. So I quickly also learned that the arts is a way to reach this beautiful community that has so much creativity, but yet so misunderstood and not able to be given the chance. And so we start singing. He types, he wants to write songs. We start writing songs. Now he goes, he's already graduated from high school.
Wow.
But my passion is definitely giving, the neurodiverse community a way to shine. I work with, a lot of kids and teens that verbal speaking is not how they communicate. They type to communicate, or they'll say one word, but the creativity is there. So my job is to find a way to get that out. And I had a whole class of teens who they call multimodality communicators, which basically means they use different ways to communicate than language. And everyone said they're not going to move, they're not going to dance, they can't do this, they can't. I was like, stop telling me what they can't do. Cut to, we just did a whole music video, shot on 5K, live instruments. They're looking like the stars that they are. And they have a whole music video now that it's their words. I just, put my thing on it, made it kind of happen for them and believed in them. And they would type, "Thank you for believing in us. This is a dream come true."
It's such an incredible way to apply all of the skills and knowledge you've obtained as a producer to actually produce in a way produce something that is like so powerful and so meaningful to other people. And that's wow. I didn't realize that. I didn't realize all of that from the short.
And in my following your art, I have Chasing Molly, which I just rewatched pieces of, which includes you like making jokes about guys putting drugs in various body holes, right? And we go from that. We go from that to you like
such a funny conversation.
Milking cows with like pigs and keep it green. And then the next video comes up is this absolutely poignant documentary where you're featured in it, having much like the conversation we're having right now. And so anyways, it's very it really says a lot about you. It says a lot about how much heart is behind all of the like how and I would say it seems like you have a command of when you want to be the funny person and when you want to be the cuddlier person. They can also both be the same person. Is that right?
That's right. And it's not one and I mean, obviously, I can never promote my movie to my kids, but I have students in Chasing Molly where I had to tell them because they want to be actors. A lot of my students, they want to be seen. Right. Of course. Why should they be represented? So one of my students who's in it, I said, listen, it's about drugs. It's this, it's that. It's fine. So you'll say, Nick, how's the movie? I bought drugs from Shelley. Because they're so honest. They don't lie. And that's true. He did in the movie buy drugs from Shelley. But it's just the way he said it. I bought drugs from Shelley.
Like you need to give a little context around that, or
you need a little context, buddy. But, one of the kids who plays like, the kid who's possessed or is, one of the first houses that I cleansed.
Yeah.
He's one of my students. So I just want to make it like, and they don't have to play autistic characters. They just want to be like, they're like in the end of the movie, we're just like everybody else. Right. So it's my passion that as I produce, it's all inclusive. Anyone that has a desire, I want to make sure that there's representation, that actors are diverse and that I can be that kind of beacon. Like, yes, it might be more challenging at times production wise, but then what you get out of it is way worth it. You have some actors who won't come out because they, didn't get brown rice. You know what I mean? Whereas my actors would genuinely just have a physical, they can't be in their body for that long. So
right.
I said that, listen, I'm sorry. I said, listen, don't apologize. We're getting the best work, your cast, because you're the best you for this part. Just don't worry about that other stuff. I'll take care of that.
And what's the organization? I just want to make sure that
it's called the Miracle Project. So the Miracle Project we teach Torah. So I'm teaching Judaism to kids on the spectrum. And they absolutely love it.
Really?
They said they can relate to the struggle of our people, the being isolated and not understood, and then kind of on the outskirts and having to prove yourselves, and their pain.
Wow.
So they relate a lot to Judaism and their struggle with being autistic.
Everyone, this is Shelley Pack, who started the conversation by saying, I'm not so Jewish.
She's light. I eat bread on Passover.
I eat bread on Passover.
I know a couple prayers.
I'm using the struggle of our
prayers.
people to help uplift others, and I teach Torah.
It's true.
Don't you want to? I mean, maybe this sounds creepier for me because I'm a guy, but how much do Lily and Becky want to hug Shelley? Right?
I know. I
would hug you guys so bad.
I
would not.
I
would not be even. I know when everyone in the audience sees this, you won't see my face, but I was not planning to even see these three precious angels. But God, are you guys cute? I was just like, I want to be a part of this. So, yes, if I get to see you guys, I'm going to give you a hug. We'll meet.
I think that's, to Shai's point, though, that's a very, that speaks a lot to you, because so many comedic women, I feel like there are a few, and maybe this is sexist to say who I'd want to give a hug to, but I think that does speak a lot to that type of comedy. It reaches your heart. And, I'd give Jerry Seinfeld a hug, although he won't hug me back because he definitely didn't hug Kesha that time. She tried to give him a hug. There's that viral video. So I wouldn't actually give him a hug, but he seems like you could if you knew him, but then a lot of the comedy, I just, it's very like, it's distant, and it's go ahead.
No, I want, if I want to riff on that, we've seen, Becky and I just went to see Amy Schumer, who I'd also want to give the biggest
I
hug
definitely want to give her a hug. Yeah.
But I think what you were saying before, like as a woman needing to kind of climb that ladder extra further, and then play in what is like a very rough, guy environment.
And like, I take
also
no
having
shit,
a persona
and
where everyone would want to hug you is pretty tough.
It is that, like, and I see a lot of female comedians will kind of, to combat that, go for that, either really like hardcore sex, like I'm owning the sex thing, which to me, I'm always like, if I write a rom-com, it's very low on the romance. Like a nice hug at the end is fine. I don't need to see all that. You guys, that's personal, but I find that they might go to that extreme as a way to be like, I'm not going to take this, anymore, be kind of that hard shell. And I think that's a way of protection, too, for female comedians, because I've been very fortunate to work with a lot of wonderful male comedians. But I also think improv is a different world than, let's say, stand-up, which is very is a harsh.
Yeah.
The environment is a harsh, it's three people, they're drunk, make me laugh. And you have 5 minutes to do it. Improv, they're like, well, you're making it up as you go along. They have a little more like, it's, I think, a warmer audience, like, wow, we can't believe you guys are doing that. Whereas in stand-up, it's like, you better make me laugh. And I find a lot of comedy, and it's unfortunate, we've been given the gift to uplift people and make people laugh. So like when I see someone who's very intelligent, they use comedy, I won't name names, but to hurt people or to point out a group that's different and pick on them, it's like, you're using your gift for evil. Like,
right.
You're smart.
Definitely don't want to hug those people.
I don't want to hug those people either. I want to shake them and being like, you can do better.
That's such a great approach. Okay, I want to do a little bit more on Chasing Molly.
Yeah,
just to remind people, we actually told people last week you can stream it on Amazon Prime. So everyone, we know everyone here knows how much I order on Amazon. I know everyone listening is ordering things on Amazon, which means
you are personally sending Jeff Bezos to space.
You can pop on your Amazon and watch this hilarious film. Okay, so premise of the film, everyone needs to know. Again, I'm going to say it's like I
explained this to Mom just now, and she was like, "Why haven't I seen that movie yet?" And I was like, "Don't you worry, we will watch it together."
It's like
very exciting.
You need to watch
I would love to watch this with Mom. She's gonna
Our
laugh
mom is
so
hilarious.
Hard.
So
get a video of her laughing.
This is a pair of scam artist, paranormal, like Ghostbuster type characters, or a little bit like the Frighteners, if anyone's seen that movie. Also, there's a Jewishness about it, who stumble onto a bag of drugs shaped like Legos and end up in a sort of day, I think it's like a day long chase, series of unfortunate events having to do with crime that has everything from demon possession to wrestling legend Kurt Angle. I'm a wrestling fan, so we'll get to speaking about Kurt Angle in a second. And
The
one
Mexican drug cartel, lazy cops. There's
there's
the
everything.
best pawn shop scene I've ever seen in a movie. I love that pawn shop scene so much.
Where is the Improv Cops spinoff show? Where is
Thank you.
Because I need to watch that every day of my life.
They're like
sorry,
the thing in the car with the prepping for their audition.
But their day job is police officers. They really want to be actors, but like to pay the bills, they're cops, which I was just like, I love that juxtaposition.
Such chemistry, the two of them. They were phenomenal together. They had such chemistry.
And then the thing that this movie was recommended to me on the algorithm, and I said, oh well, this is great, and so I started it. But then, people, you got to listen here.
The most amazing thing happened.
The most amazing thing happens ever, because another thing we look for a lot on our show because of our Jewish identity is when Jewishness appears in a film, and we have and we also look for when it is funny, but not the butt of the joke, which is like a very specific
It's a very fine
needle
line.
to thread.
Yes, it is.
And your character is doing a exorcism, and I'm expecting the usual cross, holy water kind of thing. And then Molly drops the Ahavta, which is part of the Shema, a quintessential element of Jewish life. And not the Shema, not the easy part everyone knows, like the deep cut second part, the blessing that every kid has to know in Hebrew school. Then, or I don't know the order of these, then Birkat Hamazon.
I think the Birkat is the first one.
No, Birkat Hamazon.
And then you start doing some Passover ones.
And
start
so
doing the 4 questions.
And isn't the Haftorah in there?
I make
blessings for the Haftorah.
A blessing, to read from the Torah.
To read from the Torah.
Okay, so what people have to understand is, right, okay, whenever, like, one of the things that drives me nuts when I see a Jewish thing in the film is when they do the easiest thing. They're like, put a yarmulke, have someone say shalom, play some klezmer. These are the prayers where if you didn't go to Jewish summer camp or if you didn't go to Hebrew school, you do not know these prayers. These are
deep cuts.
And they're deep cuts, but they're fun and they're part of our culture. And so they're hilarious because they're hilarious sounding in English, but B, your character seems to know what she's doing. It's like she's in on the joke. Like, I'll just say some Jewish deep cuts to these folks. They won't have any idea. No one's gonna know what this is. And so there's an element where I felt so included. I know it sounds, maybe you don't hear this all the time, but like I felt so seen and included by
really
this joke. And
you immediately texted us. You're like, girls, I just saw someone do the Birkat in a movie and it was funny. This woman managed to do the impossible.
And
that's hilarious.
And I felt so seen, but also like so in on the joke. And again, this is a movie about fake exorcists who go on like a drug adventure, like a drug crime adventure. But I felt empowered as a Jewish person by the way you used Jewish identity in that comedy, and it means so much to us. It was so funny.
Thank you. And it's funny because a lot of the people that I was working with on set, they didn't know what I was doing. So to finally get my day of reckoning when you guys know what I was talking about is awesome. And it's just, who I like. I feel the same way. Like every time I see like someone Jewish on camera, I'm always like,
there's a moment of trepidation.
Where's this gonna go?
Exactly. It's the exact face
like, please don't be a stereotype. Please don't, like play at us or pretend like someone's playing a Jewish. I'm like, all of a sudden they're like heavy Israeli, or like they're like, they're like all little rabbis. I'm like, that's not how every Jewish person is. Like, we're just people, we're not like kooky characters. And so, I don't want to be like, and now I'm doing that. just the way you watched it and perceived it is exactly, my intention. So that's amazing. Yeah. And, also representation, there should be people who get to hear their, prayers that they love out on there, and it not being the butt of the joke. Like you said, we're not the butt of the joke.
No, Molly's this like whip smart, fast thinking,
and her Jewishness isn't like part of her faults or part of her problem or it's not an issue. It's not like it's right. She's not like worried that she's going to intermarry. Like we don't have to like get behind her whole backstory of like how her mother feels about it. Like it's not all those stereotypes. It's just, I guess she has, like, obviously she's Jewish and that's why she's so smart and I don't know, survival skills, I guess. Like it's not
being resourceful,
not a big deal. Right. That's why she's so resourceful. But other than that, it's not really a big deal, which I loved.
I love that too. I hate when it's like, here's a woman and now it's going to be all the woman issues and who's this and is she having kids? And I was like, can't she just be a person and have a job? Like, why does it, if now we're going to have a woman, so it's got to be about women, trying to fight their age to have a baby, or women trying to do the stereotypical woman thing when it's not
their age to
make her way in a workplace that she's not used to. And it's like, can't she just have a job? Why do we have to talk about all the other stuff? We know, we live it. Let's have a place where it's just like, we're just people too. And I don't want to be the focus. I want the focus to be on the comedy and not have to be like, well, because we have a woman on camera, we better hit all these,
address why she doesn't, or why she does have kids, or when she getting married.
I even said, I think I'd have them, but I don't want to. It's
right.
But that's it. I don't want to keep
in the scene with the kids, and there's a lot of stuff turned on its head. The like drug dealer who has the baby in the carrier and the two kids, and the mother's left the kids, and he's that whole scene is
kids, each with a different mom,
right? Like that whole trope turned on its head. And her, really, I was going to ask you about this. Her, she definitely doesn't make good choices, and she doesn't appear always very smart. However, she's not dumb, and she's very resourceful. And I have to say, for someone who is actually a Jewish character, her anxiety is very much in check.
Yes.
I loved how chill she is and how she adapts to each. She just is like very zen.
More anxious when
and how relaxed,
how relaxed she is. Not anxious in some very anxiety provoking situation.
Yes.
I liked her character a lot. It's not at all what you expect to see of her.
That's exactly it, and you want the female character it's not her world, right? So, in her world, she's a master, but now she's in the drug world and she just doesn't, she's smart, but doesn't know what this is about. Right. So it's that it's almost just like an ignorance, but not a lack of intelligence. It's just like, what is having a gun and packing? I don't, even though my Shelley knows what that is, from Los Angeles. I know what all that is. But, I completely agree. It's like, last thing you want to see is like someone like panicking all the time. I mean, to me, that's why I don't make horror movies. I don't think it's flattering for me to be screaming all the time and running around. So I was like, you know what? Comedy's for you, Shelley. I think this is. And my director, shout out to Josh Sutherland. He's my partner. We made this together. He had shot that first scene of the girl running through, before we even start the movie, the intro. And she's running through a very authentic Indonesian village. That he sent me that. He was stuck in Indonesia. He's like, this is what I just shot. What do you think? I was like, we got to make a movie. What's a funny spin on that, ghostly world? I was like, well, what if I'm a con artist? And what if we do that?
That's awesome.
And then as an improviser and as a movie maker, you notice my character goes on an adventure, partially for the movie, but we wrote it like that so that once you saw one character and went on that adventure, then I could wrap that actor that day and move on and then go another day shooting. So, and I'm wearing the same outfit, keep it consistent.
Yeah.
So,
a
lot of
an outfit which I really like. The wardrobe.
Really great.
I love that outfit.
Great.
Lily, thank you.
It's a great outfit.
And Josh Sutherland also directed Dashiell.
Yeah.
He is. He was
Yeah.
my business partner. He directed Chasing Molly. He directed Dashiell, Journey Through Autism. And we were there. When you find someone where you can work like that, you stick with them. He knows everything behind the camera. I do the on-camera stuff, and then together, you know, we made it happen. Just two people really like getting, you know, I had other movies written. I was like trying to get money for and calling investors and and I just said, if I got to start, I'm sick of asking people for money. We got to start shooting. Let's make a movie. He has a red cam, like a really nice camera. And I was like, you have the ability to write and you know actors. And we just started chipping away. And then Kurt Angle, who's the one guy who I'm not from the wrestling world, right? I just cold called his wrestling manager.
No way.
On Twitter. And I said, I have a script.
What?
If I would have called his agent, they would have been like, he got the script to Kurt. Kurt read the script. His agent said, they're not paying you we're paying him, but not what he deserves, not what actors make. And he said, I don't care. I like the script. I think it's funny. I'm doing this movie, which I later found out.
And people should know, like, to your point, like, while Kurt Angle, I think he's probably done a few movies, like, he's a legend of the wrestling world. This is a guy that I enjoy the business and the gossip and everything around wrestling more than the actual action of it. I mean, you're talking about a guy that is in the top 20 most famous guys of all time. This is someone that at a wrestling convention or at some kind of wrestling event, people are lined up around the block to talk to. And it says a lot about both him and your writing that he was like, nope, I'm going to do this. And talk about a guy who must have not take himself too seriously. He looked like he was having a lot of fun playing the heavy gangster.
He did, and he took it very seriously. He is a pro. You wonder why someone's a gold medalist and a champion like that. Right. He knew every line. He's so
that's awesome,
professional. And you know, in working with wrestlers, you know, I didn't know what to expect, but he's done a lot of live.
Oh yeah, he
was ready.
And he's very famous for, despite the seriousness of having been a gold medalist and all these things, for being up for doing what's needed for the show. That's one of the things they talk about with him, of the live skits and all that stuff. So
he's
so cool.
He's a champion in every sense of the word. You know, he's being possessed. He's in his nice 3-piece suit. He's got a broken neck. He's giving it 1,000% being possessed physically. And you're just watching greatness. I mean, there's a reason why someone has that kind of draw and magnetism. And when you meet him, you're like, oh, okay, I get it. I get it.
And then you also worked with, like, one of the legends of the improv world. Becky and I saw her perform live with Voyage to the Stars at Sketchfest in San Francisco, Felicia Day.
Yes. She's a friend. Thankfully, I was able to reach out to her. And that's also why, you know, as a comedian, I say, perform, get into groups. All the actors that are in my movie are actors I've performed improv with. And they respect me enough. So when I did reach out to Felicia, even though you won't find someone working harder or more busy than Felicia Day. And I said, Felicia, I wrote this movie. I have a part for you. I love. When and what time? I mean, that's the kind of, and again, professional. I mean, she wouldn't even take she wouldn't take my money. Like, that's the kind of, she wanted to do it because she believed in it. She loves the work. You know, you get in the actor because you want to act and do things you're proud of. And actors are willing to take the risk to do that, to even say to their agent, no, I'm doing this movie. And for Felicia, with her extremely, like, unimaginably busy schedule, to give me a day for that. And she's one of a kind.
She's so great.
That's amazing. She's such a funny person. Well, okay, we're going to wrap on talking about the movie, and now we're going to test your improv skills.
Okay.
We're going to ask you some questions, and we might answer them too, to give you, like,
okay,
we don't have to play alone. But every year on Rosh
What a
Hashanah,
sad game. You're the only player.
Yeah. Where every
We'll
year
judge you though.
every
Yeah,
year on
of
Rosh
course.
Hashanah, we kind of infuse the holiday into our discussion of pop culture. For Yom Kippur, we do an episode that is always the pop culture book of life. What things we want to see survive to the next year.
Okay.
Rosh Hashanah, we play with a little bit more. And, Rosh Hashanah kicks off the 10 days of repentance. And do you, until Yom Kippur, the saying sorry, do you have any pop culture repentance you want to do for 2022? Is there, and then my sisters might have this too. Is there anything you just like, I'm going to do less of this next year?
Oh, I thought I meant like you recommended to somebody and they hated.
Or you
sorry.
recommended something that you hated,
Oh.
like something that was a complete
I mean,
flaw.
I
That
didn't.
could
I
be
have
one.
amazing recommendations, so that didn't happen to me. But
That could be just something that you want to say either sorry for or take back for 2022 for Rosh Hashanah.
Like,
I mean, I am very guilty of it either has to be really well written or complete trash for me to watch it. Like it has to be on either end of the spectrum. So for me, like reality shows, I'm not happy about it. I know I need to fast on Yom Kippur for all the reality. And so, yes, I would like to definitely do better.
That's a good one.
But all of the I watch all of them. The 90-Day Fiancés, the whole.
Oh my God. What's
Happily Ever
terrible
After,
is that I don't watch that show, but I always read the articles about who's getting divorced. But I don't even watch the show. And I'm like, stop
Why? Why
reading
would you
it.
want-
Who cares? But I
Who
can't when they're like,
cares? Exactly.
when they're
It's
like,
just
these
not-
people are getting divorced. And I'm like, oh my God, what happened? Well, they just met 90 days ago. That's what happened. But I still have to read it.
We solved the mystery on that one.
Yeah.
Really. They were just married and it was a green card.
Well,
But or it has to be really well written. And then Dead to Me, if you guys haven't seen
Oh,
it.
masterful.
I love that.
Absolute
That's-
masterful.
Liz Feldman, she's a fellow improviser. Talk about a
Mhm.
female creating a show. So she created it, she wrote it.
Love
It's
that
her
show
baby.
yeah.
So major shout out. I love anything written by women. So like Insecure, Girls, Working Moms is hilarious. I'm not a mom, but I
love
love
that.
the show. I just think
we
it's
a great
love
show.
Working Moms. We love
Big
And they're
Catherine
all-
Reitman fans here.
Big Catherine Reitman fans. Yeah.
It's so funny, and it's written by a woman, starring a woman, produced. So I really love to champion, those shows because we need that representation. We need that voice, and they're really funny. It's not like silly. I like biting funny where the writing's really smart and
Right.
edgy and out there. And so those are the ones I recommend that I want to survive for the next year. Next year in Jerusalem, we should all see female written shows. And then that's my wish. And then to purge, the reality shows, it's too much. And they keep feeding me another one. Now it's their single life. Now are they happy after single life? And I'm like, watching all of them. It's got to stop, you guys. Got to stop.
Okay, and so do you have a pop culture New Year's resolution? Is there something like for me? I'm like, is this going to be the year I'm going to watch Citizen Kane? I don't know. Still haven't gotten around
I
to
see.
it.
Never seen it.
No, but everyone
I
has.
mean,
those-
I pretend to watch a lot of movies, and that one I've actually seen. So
Yeah, there's all the Casablancas and the Gone with the Winds, and
I saw it's so long. Don't watch it. It's so long. It's like
Gone
5
with the
hours.
Wind.
Yeah, I saw it once.
I'm like, everyone
Never get
really
that
needs
time
to be
back.
sure I need to see this before I actually commit. It's a long commitment.
Yeah.
So no, I don't. And then the kids who I work with, they're like, you got to watch all the Avengers. I was like, well, how many? They're like 76. I'm like, you know what? No.
That's
I'm
definitely
not watching 76 Avenger
No.
movies so I can be in this conversation.
Neither are Lily and Becky.
That's how I feel.
I watch like a solid 40% of those movies, Shy.
Have
Okay.
you? Yeah, that's true. That's
That's
true.
a lot.
Becky
There's
more
too
than Lily.
many.
Lily, I have.
There's
Lily,
too
I-
many.
Lily,
know-
I have to convince, but people should buy
I was-
tickets to watch Avengers movies with Lily because it is
I don't
hilarious. She
understand.
doesn't
Very
care
great.
what's going on. She doesn't understand what's going on. She asks a lot of questions.
I've actually, this brings up, just to interject, Shy. How many Thor movies are there?
4.
What?
Have you seen the last one? Can we
No.
watch the last one?
No.
No, I saw Love and Thunder. I saw
Oh, no one wants to be
Ragnarok.
part of. I'm turning off this podcast.
I saw the first one.
I hate this. I
Hold
hate
on.
the
There's a
subject.
second. it turns
We've
out
done
there's
whole
a
episodes
second
on this,
one.
Shelley, and I literally
it's terrible.
can't
I
handle
didn't
it.
know
think I
that.
have to write a movie. I can't see another superhero
There's-
movie.
And now,
can't, you
now, Sebastian Stan. This is what I read about a lot of stuff. So, like, Sebastian Stan is now going to be in something else in the superhero things. What? Like, enough, guys. Somebody just give them another part for
I'm
other
sorry.
things.
There can never
Enough.
be too much Sebastian Stan.
Kelsey Grammer
So-
played
I love him, but
Frasier.
like enough of the superheroes.
Kelsey Grammer played Frasier for 21 years. I'm just saying. And that was like 22 episodes a year. Just
It's a
saying.
lot. TV is
okay.
a beast.
All right. Now we're going to play with you our signature game. Okay. So the signature game of this show is called Buy, Rent, or Meh. It's similar to another game that exists. We're going to give you three things, but it's based on renting videos in the 80s when we grew up, right? So
you really love it, you buy it.
If you're medium about it and you rent it, and then meh, you can actually give the meh. This is where your improviser comes through. Your meh really is whatever attitude you want to give that meh. So it can be like one of disgust, it can be one of indifference, it can be one of whatever you decide it has to be. Like we don't want there to be a lowest category if it doesn't have to be. So we were thought of con artist movies. This works just as well if you've never seen them. Okay. So the three options you have are Opportunity Knocks, starring Dana Carvey and Robert Loggia, which
one of my favorite movies,
which
with
we
one of the
watched
best actors of all time.
Okay.
which we watched
On repeat.
on the airplane to Israel when we went to Israel when we were kids. It was the
And
movie.
then we
show.
must have gotten the VHS because I think I've seen it 1,000 times.
For sure. Focus, starring Will Smith and Margot Robbie, one of my wife's favorite movies.
That's why I put it on there.
That was okay. Okay.
Yeah, I
he's
know.
a con artist. Yeah, he's like training her to be a
Will
con artist.
Smith.
Yeah.
and
That's
Margot
that's Shy's wife's
Robbie.
favorite movie. That's why I put it on here.
My wife has. I
The
understand my
weirdest
wife's
taste.
taste, but my sisters
I don't. No.
She loves them. And then Tom Hanks, Leonardo
That's a
DiCaprio,
classic con
Steven
movie.
Spielberg. Catch Me If You Can.
You gotta Catch Me If You Can is I've seen that so many times. It's just so well done. It's so well written. It's so smart. Definitely Catch Me If You Can. I would buy that one. Focus. I mean, I'm not saying don't watch it, but someone's favorite. It's your wife's favorite.
No, it's not her
Yeah,
favorite movie. No. It's not her
She
favorite
likes
movie.
it like a
She likes them.
disproportionate amount.
They're exaggerating. My
I've never
sisters
even
pick
heard
on-
of this movie, so I'm making no claims to anything.
I mean,
Who
I don't
likes
know,
it
like
and
if
who watches it, or if it's even real.
It's not bad.
It's not bad. Yeah, it's not bad, but
Just
it's not
scratches
like
an
I'd
itch,
be like,
maybe?
well, this is on the list of top. I mean, this needs to. I don't want to say anything bad about other people's work. It's a good movie. Let's go. Let's.
It's a cool movie.
It's a cool movie. It's stylistic. It's well done.
Right.
Yeah.
So is that getting your rent
Your meh.
or your meh?
getting
It
my
sounds
meh.
like it's getting
It's
your
getting
meh.
my meh.
And
And then
then
Opportunity Knocks gets your rent.
Opportunity Knocks gets my rent. I love Dana Carvey. It's like like growing up with watching SNL. Well, that's what our comedy world was Saturday Night Live, you
Right.
know? So, the church, it was just haunted front. It was just, that was it. So anything he's doing, I'm on board with.
amazing. Okay. All right. Now, paranormal comedies. All right.
Okay.
Ghostbusters, the original Bill Murray Ghostbusters.
Bye.
Okay.
You don't even know the other.
don't know the
ones
other
are.
No,
one.
I'm not playing this game right at all.
Okay. Evil Dead. I'm going to say Evil Dead 2 because that is the quintessential funny one. Bruce Campbell, Sam Raimi, and then Beetlejuice. We like to make these hard because we're talking. I mean, for me, just so you know, these are three masterpieces as far as I'm concerned. So,
Yeah, I don't have any mez on that one. I think you need to buy Ghostbusters like a piece of art. It's like a collector's piece. Beetlejuice, great. I mean, I love different. I love stuff that's like you're not expecting it. So it's like, I think you probably would want to buy all of these. I mean, what happens when your internet goes out? Then what? Right? Then
so you just want to own all of these.
you got to own it. You got to own Chasing Molly too. I mean, I know we're talking about these other movies. I don't know why, Shy, but
We own
but
Chasing
those are all
Molly.
great. I don't have any mez in that one.
Okay.
I don't have any
Okay.
mez.
Okay. All right. Now, surprise category here. We're just going to give you, you're not going to have to talk about anyone's work. We're going to come back to where it started for us with you. We're going to give you 3 prayers. Okay.
Oh my God. Okay.
That were in Chasing Molly. So I'm not going to like give you like deep avodah service Rosh Hashanah cuts. So Birkat Hamazon. Okay. The Ahavta and the 4 questions. Halayla hazeh, halayla hazeh. What is your ranked order of those 3?
I'd say, oh man. Okay, give them to me. What was the first one?
Birkat Hamazon.
Okay.
Avarai Nevarech, right?
Yeah, you should.
Yeah.
That's such a good one.
I mean, you banish demons with it. You banish demons with it.
That's one. It's my top.
Ve'ahavta.
That's last. That's more of like
I agree. That one is just sort of like it's filler. You know, you
filler,
get it every day.
Yeah, it's filler.
And then halai lahazeh, you know, manishtana.
Yeah. That would be so that would be the second one. And then the Ve'ahavta is very much just like we all know what's happening here. I'm doing a regular cleaning. The But if I gotta go like full out casting out a real demon, you know where you gotta go. You know,
good beer cut. Yeah,
I love ranking the prayers.
We did you know, at our summer camp growing up, we do the Birkat Hamazon with elaborate hand motions that are. Most of them are just what the English word sounds like. And it actually turns out to be a way of teaching the kids. But it's very funny. Now our kids go to the camp that we went to. And my kids go to the camp that all 3 of us went to. And they now do these hand motions to the beer.
Oh, it sounds so cute. So I love it. It was always like, like some 50s or doo-wop. And I was like, okay.
All right. As we wrap the show, we always love to do a section called shout outs and recommendations, shout outs and recs. And of course, goes without saying, and I'll go first today, Chasing Molly, but not just Chasing Molly. Find Chasing Molly on Amazon Prime. You can watch it now or buy it because it is a buy. It is hilarious. And then go find Shelley Pack's YouTube channel because that's what I dove into. And it's got everything from the most delicious I don't know if it's FaceTime or Instagram lives with your bubby, which are just so sweet, to the clips of Planet Green, Keep It Green.
Yeah, it was on Discovery Channel.
Discovery Channel.
Keep It Green. Yep, you got it.
And it also has some clips of Beverly Hills Salon, and it has Dashiell in its entirety, which is just absolutely beautiful. So that is my top recommendation. But I will recommend a few other things. Number 1, which of my sisters said that Gemstone season 2 was amazing? I forget.
Becky.
It really was amazing. Like at the end of the first season of Righteous Gemstones, I said they just don't need to make another one because against all expectations for me, this was like an elevated game. And then the second season, I think, was better than the first season, and also ended in a way where I'm like, I could have more, but I also don't need it. And I'll say that, like Danny McBride, like it's operating on this like deeper level of emotions and comedy. And Becky, I'm glad you pushed me to watch season 2 because and it isn't like season 1. It is not a retread. I was so happy because they had so much growth in the first season where I was like, ugh, are they just gonna restart this? And they didn't. They really picked up where they left off. So huge recommendation there. And it's not really an I told you show to Becky, but that's a thing, a prize we give for people if they recommend something you aren't going to watch. And then the other one, I got to say, She-Hulk. She-Hulk is awesome. It's funny. It has been a really fun thing to watch with my daughters and my wife. And like all of the things people are complaining about, which is, I guess, the breaking the fourth wall, which, by the way, people are fine with in Deadpool. Right. Like, and I like Deadpool, but people are fine with it in Deadpool. But Tatiana Maslany does it, and people are like all complaining about it.
It's like the fourth wall is the least of my problems.
It is funny, and
like she's a lawyer and she's a Hulk, but she's green.
That's
like
the
why? What?
But that's the character. That is the character. Okay. But
sure. So it's no one's fault.
What it also has been, as you know, we love to talk to our kids while we watch things that are probably just a little too old for them. Like and some people may argue that it's ham-handed at times, but there's some really great stuff about the way women are treated in the workplace and the way women superheroes are treated. And it's been really fun to talk with the kids about that throughout the show. And as I'll say over and over again, I think Tatiana Maslany is the greatest amazing living actor.
Yeah, I think she's incredible. That's true.
So those are my two big recommendations. Shelley, you're going to get to make some too, by the way.
Okay.
So just get ready while we are,
I've also been watching She-Hulk. I saw Do Revenge, which we're just gonna bookmark that and talk about it on another episode. Yeah. We're not gonna start unpacking it, but I'll just say I saw it.
And go check out Lily's tweets.
And
I tweeted about it. I don't Twitter. I don't use Twitter, but then I went
now
hard
there is a reason to follow Lily on Twitter.
Yeah, I went hard on Do Revenge on Twitter.
And we're really into Criterion Collection in our household right now. So we've been watching some super old movies and enjoying that. We watched The Champion, this movie from 1949 with Kirk Douglas, and man, he was a smoke show. Wow, I gotta tell you,
also Jewish.
That is point. It's a good looking dude. That is I kind of fell asleep. I was really tired. I think it's a great movie, but that's besides the point. Gorgeous.
My favorite Kirk Douglas movie, still Greedy. With Tom Hanks, not Tom Hanks, with Michael J. Fox.
And, it's a great movie.
And oh my God,
young Kirk Douglas. Wow.
And your friend Ed Begley Jr., I believe, is in that.
Yes. Mm-hmm. My good buddy.
All right, Lily, what do you got for us?
I did see Do Revenge. Check out my tweets. I have things to say. I watched. I'm watching Flight Attendant season 2. Which is good. I like season 1 better so far, but it's
I loved season 2.
You had
love
COVID.
That show.
No one knows when you
That's true.
A COVID show, you can't really.
No, I love that.
You were in a COVID stupor when you saw it, but it's good. It's fun. I'm enjoying her, and it's a fun show to watch. I've had a weird week though, because you'll see, because then I'm on the last episode of The Boys. Which is
that was going to be one of my recommendations.
Get out. So this is a show that I feel like I definitely need to fast, because it is so I'm so scared to recommend this show to anyone. First of all, the warnings, if you read the warnings word for word before the episodes, they are amazing. They change for each episode, and the warnings go from everything in this episode was consensual. We definitely don't think it's appropriate for anyone to watch. So be very careful. No animals were harmed. Any sex was consensual with animals and humans and superheroes. And I literally turned to my husband and I was like, is this illegal? What are we about to see? And this season really takes it to another level, specifically the episode called Herogasm, which was that was one of the best episodes I've ever seen.
Bananas.
That episode was bananas. The season 3 is bananas. I have 1 episode left, and I do feel a little guilt. Thank God Yom Kippur is coming up. I feel a little weird watching it, but it's so good. But
it's be warned. So good. That was going to be one of my shows, and it is so dark and so good. I'm just glad everyone's warning us about smoking now, and they're massive gore and smoking, and I'm like, wow,
so funny.
Right, that off. But thanks for the warning.
Right at the top, you can see the warnings of sexual this and that, and there will be cigarettes.
And so smoking. Careful. I was like, oh, well, that pushed it too far. All the massive gore, hardcore Handmaid's Tale rape. Sorry for saying that on your show. No, I do love a Handmaid's Tale. I love dark. So as a comedian, it's weird, but I like watching The Boys. That's my jam. But it's so well written. It's not just gore. It's so smart. Right. It's so political. Did I interrupt your recommendations?
No, that's okay.
I'm so excited at The Boys.
No, that's it. It's a perfect segue.
Yeah.
Perfect segue.
That's okay.
It's hard to recommend because then people are you okay? Is wrong with you? Are you so dark and creepy that you think that's what I would want to watch? And I was like, I just think it's a well-written show. All right. The Boys is so smart.
And well acted. It's well acted. It's really well acted.
Well acted, it's well written, it's smart. I really liked Don't Look Up. this year.
Oh,
Yeah,
I don't know if you guys saw that. But
I like that a lot.
as far as
Adam
comedy,
McKay.
I like a political, social comedy where like it
Mhm.
makes you think like, that is kind of, and so that's my kind of humor. I don't like silly. Like
Mhm.
when stuff goes wrong, I'm always like, who's going to clean that up? Like I get anxious about it. Like if they make a mess. And I don't like a misunderstanding, even though I write that because it is a comedy trope. But yeah, Dead to Me, my girl Liz Feldman, great show.
Beautiful show.
Beautiful.
I can't wait. There's supposed to be one more season, right?
I was banned off Facebook. I don't know why. They just disabled my account.
Oh no.
And meanwhile, watching all these like shows about these internet scammers who are like taking women's pictures. I'm like, but my account
No, right.
disabled. These guys are like taking women's pictures and putting them on blast, but I get disabled. I think
No
I was
justice.
hacked or whatever. But meanwhile, it's been a blessing because I'm just like, I don't know what's happening with anyone's lives or their kids or what day of school their kids are going to. I don't know.
What day of school their kids are going to? That's amazing.
I don't know now.
And
You have to guess.
I have kids, and I don't care about people's pictures of their kids. So I'm
Congrats, another year. What am I going to say? You know what I mean?
I agree.
But I don't
totally
know
agree.
now. I don't know what day they're going to school. I have no clue. But those are my recs. Working moms, insecure girls, anything written by and produced by a woman and starring a woman. I just, we got to support that. So yeah, for sure. And I know some of the writers on The Boys are female. And so I know it's not just a boys
club.
It's got
right.
our girls in there too. So
Cool.
Wow.
And Hacks, did you see Hacks?
no, I haven't. Is that one of your
Oh,
recs?
that's a definite recommendation for you.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
Hacks
right,
is
done.
absolutely fantastic. It rightly
Yeah,
won
HBO.
the awards.
Yeah, on HBO. It's great.
Well, we want to say a huge thank you to our amazing guests. And like some other guests before her, doesn't realize what she's now inherited with this family, but she is part of the family. And she's giving us a hug. We're giving her a hug too. Shelley Pack, you can follow her. Well, Shelley, tell people where people should follow you as you say your final
you
goodbye.
can follow me. Mainly, I want you to watch my movie. Watch Chasing Molly. It's on Amazon Prime, Paramount Plus, Epics, anywhere you can stream. You can buy it. Walmart, Best Buy, Amazon. Get a hard copy. If you want to follow me, I'm there, but I'm not active on social media. I mean, what a plug. Huh?
That's a good Chasing Molly, everyone. Becky,
Chasing Molly, watch the movie. You outfound me. If you want to find me, you can find me. I'm there. I'm Googleable. But mainly watch the movie, and it's time to make people laugh. Let's uplift. That's why I make comedy. It's like when you're watching comedy and laughing, you're not in anger, you're not stressed, you're not hating anyone, you're laughing. So that's what I recommend, is to support comedy and women in comedy.
Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Shelley. You can follow Friday Night Movie at Fry Night Movie on Twitter and Instagram. FridayNightMoviePod.com to sign up for our almost never newsletter. Becky's at Paper BK Princess. Lily is at Chichi K, the letter K, Gomez on Twitter. That is a very complicated story, Shelley, we can explain, but it is a combination of nicknames and Lily's married name, sort of. And follow me at Pancake and the number 4 table. The theme music is by What Does It Eat? And again, huge thank you to Shelley Pack for joining the family. Shana Tova, everyone. Bye.
Shana Tova. Thank you.
So I was like, this is a very overachieving Jewish podcast. I like that. I'm the same way. And I was like, I appreciate
Great way to
it.
describe it.
Yeah.
We should change our tagline, Shy. Just overachieving Jewish podcast.
That's it.